All right, let's dive into a story that has all the ingredients of a blockbuster thriller. We're talking a hidden identity, a massive palace conspiracy, a genocidal plot, and an orphan girl who becomes a queen, with the fate of her entire people resting on her shoulders. The entire story of Esther really boils down to this one question. As we walk through what happened, you're going to see this incredible chain of events that just looks like pure dumb luck. But was it? Or was there a guiding hand behind all these seemingly random chances? Let's break it down. So, our story kicks off right in the heart of the massive Persian Empire. We're under the rule of King Xerxes, who you might also see called Ahasuerus. And let me tell you, this guy was one of the most powerful men on the planet, ruling a kingdom that stretched all the way from India to Ethiopia. Okay, what's wild here is just how fast all this happens. The king holds this huge 6-month-long meeting with his top brass, then throws a week-long party. At this party, his queen, Vashti, refuses to show up when he calls for her, and boom, just like that, she's out, banished. This creates a sudden power vacuum, so a nationwide search for a new queen kicks off. And guess who wins this royal beauty pageant? An orphaned Jewish girl named Esther. But here is the first major secret. Her cousin Mordecai, who raised her as his own daughter, gives her a critical warning. Do not tell anyone you're Jewish. And why all this secrecy? Well, anti-Semitism was a very real and very present danger in the empire. So Esther is now essentially in the lion's den, and nobody, not even her new husband the king, has any idea who she really is. So with our unsuspecting hero on the throne, the story takes a really dark turn. A new player enters the game, and his ambition is about to threaten absolutely everything. Meet our villain, Haman. The whole conflict sparks from one single act of defiance. The king's new second-in-command, Haman, demands that everyone bow down to him. But Mordecai refuses. For him, you only bow to God. Now, this isn't just a personal insult. There's actually a deep historical hatred between Haman's people, the Agagites, and the Jews. For Haman, this one man's refusal is the final straw. Haman's wounded pride and rage just explode into a full-blown genocidal plan. He goes to the king, and get this, without even mentioning he's talking about the Jews, he convinces the king that there's this certain group of people that just needs to be wiped out. He even offers to pay for the whole operation himself. The king just agrees. And a royal decree goes out across the entire empire, setting a date for the annihilation of every single Jewish person, man, woman, and child. As you can imagine, the news is absolutely devastating. The Jewish people are in mourning. And now, the fate of an entire nation lands squarely on the shoulders of the one person who might, just might, be able to stop it. The secret Jew who happens to be queen. But here's the problem. Esther can't just walk into the throne room and plead her case. The law was absolute. If you approach the king uninvited, you are executed on the spot. The only exception is if he holds out his golden scepter to you. And to make things even worse, she hasn't even been called to see the king in a month. The risk could not possibly be higher. When Esther explains how terrified she is, Mordecai sends back this incredibly powerful, perspective-shifting question. He's basically asking her, what if your whole life, being an orphan, being chosen as queen, every single bit of it, wasn't just some big coincidence? What if it was all leading you to this exact position, for this exact moment? And this is the turning point. After asking Mordecai to get all the Jews to fast with her for 3 days, Esther makes her decision. She chooses courage over fear, purpose over her own safety. She is going to risk her life for her people. This one sentence says it all. So as Esther is preparing to face the king, a series of just unbelievable coincidences starts to unfold, and it all happens on the very night before she's planning to make her move. I mean, just think about the timing here. The king has a bout of insomnia. He randomly asks for the kingdom's history books to be read to him. The servant just happens to open to the page about how Mordecai uncovered an assassination plot years ago. The king then realizes, hey, we never rewarded this guy. And at that precise exact moment, who walks into the court? Haman. And why is Haman there so early in the morning? Because he is so consumed by his hatred that he literally built a massive 75-foot-tall gallows just to hang Mordecai on. And he's come to get the king's permission to do it that very day. You just cannot make this stuff up. What happens next is one of the greatest moments of dramatic irony you will ever read. The king asks Haman, hey, what should we do for someone the king really wants to honor? Haman, totally blinded by his own ego, assumes the king is talking about him. So he lays out this incredibly lavish public ceremony. And then the king delivers the punchline. Great idea. Go do all of that for Mordecai the Jew. So, completely humiliated, Haman has to lead his mortal enemy through the streets in a parade. But believe it or not, his day is about to get much, much worse. Because now, it's time for Esther to make her move. So, after she survives her uninvited approach to the king, Esther doesn't expose Haman right away. No, she plays it smart. She invites the king and Haman to 2 private banquets. At the second feast, when the king is in a really good mood, she finally plays her hand. She reveals her secret, that she's Jewish, and exposes Haman's plot as a direct threat to the life of the queen herself. It is a stunning, complete, and total reversal of fortune. The king is furious, and when his servants just happened to mention the giant gallows that Haman had built for Mordecai, the king gives the order. Haman is executed on the very instrument of death he had prepared for his enemy. But the story doesn't quite end there. The original evil decree couldn't be canceled. That's just how Persian law worked. So the king issues a new one. It gives the Jewish people the right to arm themselves and to defend their lives. So when the day of slaughter arrives, the tables are completely turned, and it becomes a day of incredible victory and deliverance. So what do we take away from this incredible story of near disaster and miraculous rescue? Well, it leaves behind a pretty powerful and enduring legacy. That victory was so profound that it's actually still celebrated today through the Jewish festival of Purim. It's a joyous 2-day holiday, that's why you see the number 2, that commemorates the deliverance of the Jewish people from Haman's plot, all thanks to the incredible courage of one woman. And ultimately, this story is just a powerful reminder. Mordecai was brave when he refused to bow. Esther was brave when she risked her life. They both did what they knew was right, even when they were absolutely terrified. Their story shows us that real courage isn't about not having fear. It's about acting in spite of it. And that brings us right back to where we started. Coincidence or design? The story of Esther kind of invites us to look at our own lives and ask that same question. Are the challenges we face, the opportunities we get, the unique positions we find ourselves in, are they just random? Or could they be preparing us for our own moment, our own such a time as this? Definitely something to think about.